Captain Elena Vasquez floated through the transparent corridors of Agricultural Station Demeter 7, watching the endless rows of vertical farms stretch into the distance. The sight still amazed her after 3 years aboard the station. Green shoots of wheat, corn, and soybeans swayed gently in the artificial gravity wells, their roots drinking from nutrient solutions that sparkled like liquid diamonds under the grow lights. "Status report, Dr. Chen," she called to the chief botanist who was tending to a section of modified potatoes. Dr. Marcus Chen looked up from his work, soil substitute still clinging to his gloves. "Yield is up another 12% this quarter. The zero-G modifications are working better than we ever hoped." He gestured toward the massive transparent dome above them, where Earth hung like a blue marble against the star-filled void. "The hegemony's blockade can starve our planet all they want. We're feeding 2 billion people from up here now." Elena nodded grimly. The galactic hegemony had been confident in their strategy: cut off humanity's trade routes, blockade their agricultural worlds, and wait for starvation to force surrender. It was a tried and tested method. They'd used it to subdue dozens of species over the centuries. The Xeno Council had given humanity 6 months before capitulation. That was 4 years ago. "Incoming transmission from Terra Command," announced the station's AI. Admiral Harrison's weathered face appeared on the main display, his expression carrying the weight of humanity's survival. "Captain Vasquez, I'm pleased to report that food riots on Earth have dropped to their lowest level since the blockade began. Your orbital farms are working miracles." The Admiral paused, his eyes growing distant. "The hegemony is requesting another negotiation session. They seem confused by our continued resistance." Elena laughed, a sound that echoed through the agricultural bay. "Confused? They expected us to roll over like the Centauri did. They don't understand humans very well." Dr. Chen joined her at the display. "What they don't understand is that when you corner a human, they don't just survive, they innovate. When they cut off our agricultural worlds, we didn't cry. We looked up. The doctor was right. Within months of the blockade, human engineers had begun constructing orbital farms around Earth, Luna and Mars. They used everything: decommissioned ships, asteroid mining platforms, even space debris, converting it all into agricultural space. The farms weren't just functional. They were beautiful, gleaming structures that caught and reflected sunlight like jewels in the void. "The hegemony made a fundamental miscalculation," Elena continued. "They assumed we'd think like them, accept defeat when faced with overwhelming odds. But humans? We've been turning impossible situations into opportunities since we first looked at fire and decided to tame it." A soft chime indicated another incoming message. This time it wasn't from Terra Command, it was from the hegemony itself. A tall insectoid figure appeared on screen, its compound eyes glittering with what Elena had learned to recognize as frustration. "I am Counselor Vexar of the Hegemony Strategic Command," the alien began, its translator rendering its clicks and chirps into precise human speech. "Your continued resistance is unprecedented. Our projections indicated your species would surrender within standard cycles of agricultural resource denial." Elena stepped forward, her uniform crisp despite the casual atmosphere of the agricultural station. "Counselor, I believe your projections failed to account for human creativity. You saw our dependence on agricultural worlds as a weakness. We saw it as motivation." The alien's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. "Impossible. No species has ever sustained such population levels without planetary agricultural systems. Your orbital constructs are inefficient, wasteful." Dr. Chen moved into view of the camera. "Respectfully, Counselor, efficiency isn't just about energy expenditure per calorie produced. It's about adaptability. Our orbital farms produce more food per square meter than any planetary system. They're not vulnerable to weather, planetary disasters, or," he smiled slightly, "blockades. Furthermore," Elena added, "we're not just maintaining our population, we're growing it. Birth rates are up across all human colonies. When you tried to starve us, you gave us a reason to become stronger." The footage shifted to show the view outside Demeter 7. Dozens of similar stations dotted the space around Earth, each one a testament to human determination. Solar collectors the size of cities provided power, while automated systems recycled every molecule of water and waste. The farms weren't just sustainable, they were expanding. Counselor Vexhar's image flickered as if the transmission was unstable, though Elena suspected it was more about the aliens' emotional state. Your species is irrational. You should have surrendered. The mathematics of siege warfare are absolute. Maybe for other species, Elena replied, but you made the mistake of assuming we'd react like them. When the Centauri faced starvation, they surrendered because they thought logically about resource allocation. When the Vorthon colonies were blockaded, they calculated that resistance was futile. She gestured toward the thriving farms visible through the station's transparent walls. Humans don't just calculate, counselor, we dream. When you cut off our food supply, we didn't see scarcity. We saw an opportunity to build something impossible. Farms in space, cities that grow their own food in the void between stars. Dr. Chen stepped closer to the camera. Every species you've conquered accepted the limitations you imposed. We rejected them entirely. Instead of trying to maintain our old agricultural systems, we built better ones. Our orbital farms produce food more efficiently, more safely, and more abundantly than anything we had before your blockade. The counselor's compound eyes seemed to lose focus. This outcome was not modeled in our predictions. That's your problem, Elena said firmly. You tried to apply old solutions to a new problem. You assumed that because siege tactics worked on other species, they'd work on us. But humans have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. You gave us the greatest necessity imaginable, feeding our entire species, and then seemed surprised when we invented our way out of the problem. The transmission from the hegemony cut out abruptly. Elena and Dr. Chen exchanged glances. Think they'll lift the blockade? Dr. Chen asked. Elena looked out at the earth below, where the lights of cities twinkled against the night side of the planet. Those lights represented billions of people who had refused to surrender, who had instead chosen to reach for the stars when their world was threatened. Honestly? I hope they don't, she said with a grin. We're just getting started. These orbital farms are only the beginning. Wait until they see what we do next. In the distance, construction crews were already at work on the next project. Agricultural ships designed to be completely self-sufficient, capable of feeding colonies as they expanded to the outer systems. The hegemony had tried to cage humanity by cutting off their food supply. Instead, they had taught humans to farm the cosmos itself. As Elena watched the construction crews work, she couldn't help but smile. The aliens had tried to starve humanity into surrender. What they got instead was a species that had learned to turn the void itself into a garden. The war was far from over, but Elena was confident about one thing. The hegemony was about to discover what happened when you cornered the most adaptable species in the galaxy.